San Francisco. So for me to even have this opportunity, it's kind of surreal.
Plus, 50 years ago, millions of people were forced to make a heartbreaking choice, leave the only home they've ever known, or face grave danger.
She asked me to stay back with her. Yeah, my mom.
We will introduce you to a woman who made a narrow escape after the Vietnam War and made a new life here in the Bay Area. And meet the employees on a multi-million-dollar mission to save an historic Bay Area theater.
It's a gem, it's a landmark. Well, first of all, we've been here 110 years, so it's just the physical embodiment of this place.
Thanks for joining us this Monday. Let's start with our first alert weather. The sun has returned and now we're tracking another warm-up. Meteorologist Jessica Birch has our forecast.
Kicked off this morning with cool and cloudy conditions, but now as we head into this afternoon, we're dealing with dry skies and daytime highs, mostly sitting in the mid to upper 60s in the forecast in areas like Oakland and San Francisco, but then 70s widespread throughout our inland areas today. Warmer conditions off near Concord and Antioch, a little bit cooler for our friends up in wine country near Novato in the low 70s. We're also experiencing low 70s anywhere from Fremont all the way into the Santa Clara Valley. But day by day, we're going to continue to warm up as we head into this week's forecast. At the same time, we take a look at our wind gust. We're already up to around 15 to 20 mile per hour wind gust just along our shoreline. That'll continue to get breezier into the evening hours tonight, especially along our coast, but we'll also notice that influence in our inland areas too. So with that in mind, we're seeing clear skies heading into this afternoon. That'll be the case into the evening hours tonight, but then the clouds fill the bay once again as we wake up tomorrow morning. We're going to see cloudy skies into the morning hours tomorrow, pulling back a little bit more as we head into the afternoon hours day by day. So we get a quick look at what we can expect starting off over in the bay. We're going to get a little bit of a warm up and then a quick cool down as we head into this weekend's forecast. A midweek warm up brings in sunshine and upper 60s in areas like San Francisco, all the way over the Bay Bridge into Oakland too. Notice how each day is dry, not a drop of rain in sight. Once we head into this weekend, we will see a cloudier influence though, and we're also going to notice some cooler weather right around the corner. Now we make our way over into our inland spots. Now we're talking about wine country, the East Bay, the Santa Clara Valley. We could potentially even see some low 80s in the forecast for us, but for the most part, just upper 70s as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday. Sunny skies as we dive into this weekend with cooler weather right around the corner as we head into Saturday's forecast. Back to you.
It is no secret that San Francisco continues to struggle, luring businesses to its pricey commercial real estate market. The latest numbers show that the recovery is still lagging well behind other prominent cities. According to the city's data, 35% of available commercial office space was empty in the first quarter of 2025. It's a figure that's held pretty steady since June of last year. Compare that to New York, which is equally, if not more expensive, at 16%. Both LA and Seattle were also under 30%. But there is a bright spot. More and more small businesses appear to be signing up for San Francisco's Vacant to Vibrant program. And the ones already in it are looking to expand both their footprint and their leases. Right now, there are 10 pop-up spots with long-term leases throughout the program. You can see they're all concentrated downtown in the financial district and Soma near the Embarcadero. And that list is about to expand to another part of the city, Union Square. And is where Max Darrow caught up with the owner of a local taqueria looking to bring his own unique flavor to the neighborhood.
And
looking up at the Dewey Monument in Union Square,
it reminds me a lot.
Miguel Escobedo sees a connection between his soon-to-open restaurant's new neighborhood and the place the food he's proud to serve comes from.
And Mexico's Ángel de la Independencia stands proud in Mexico City, so I love that. Visually, I love that.
Just another sign he's made the right decision. Miguel is in the midst of opening a brick-and-mortar location of Al Pastor Papi.
This is cool.
With his famous Trompo al Pastor at 232 O'Farrell.
The Trompo al Pastor is going to go over there. So when you're ordering, you come in, you're going to see that slice of Mexico City right in front of you.
This spot has stood vacant for years. It was a Chipotle pre-pandemic.
And it's just been needing a new parent since then. So the Papi's coming.
And that is thanks to SF New Deal's Vacant to Vibrant pop-up program. It's a public-private partnership to fill vacant storefronts with small businesses. Participating property owners offer the pop-ups a couple of months of free rent. Grants give the pop-ups a stipend, and SF New Deal helps with the back-of-the-house support.
I mean, Union Square is kind of the heart of San Francisco, so for me to even have this opportunity, it's kind of surreal.
Since Vacant to Vibrant's inception nearly 2 years ago, they've brought 18 small business pop-ups to downtown San Francisco. And they've seen some success because more than half of those pop-ups determined they wanted to sign long-term leases to stay in San Francisco.
There is a lot of vacant space, and we are aiming to bring vibrancy.
Simon Bertrang, SF New Deal's executive director, says the conversations with property owners have really changed since they launched the concept.
So they are really eager to participate in the program because they see both that they create some temporary activation that creates this vibrancy for their properties, but also there's a chance that they could find a long-term tenant that they might not have been able to access before.
He says over the course of the next year, they will create the space for 25 more pop-ups. And Bertrang's eyes are really set on a downtown corridor just around the corner from Al Pastor Papi.
Powell Street in particular, has a very high vacancy rate, but it still has a lot of foot traffic. The city and SF New Deal are hoping that we're going to be able to sign some leases on all 3 blocks of Powell Street.
All of my food endeavors have always been like a love letter to San Francisco. So I think she's writing back, like, come back, come to me, help me out.
Miguel is signed on for an 18-month lease.
Yeah, so it's a good chunk to see what we can do.
A chance to get in on the ground floor of a neighborhood looking to grow into a new version of itself at the heart of San Francisco.
El Pastor Papi is one of 3 newly announced pop-ups. Another one, No Works, is also opening up in Union Square, along with Creativity opening in the East Cut. Students in Oakland and parents, once again, preparing for a teacher's strike. The Oakland Education Association, which represents about 3,000 public school educators, now planning a one-day strike on May 1st over what they say are unfair labor practices. Our Dahlin talked to parents who are feeling a frustrating sense of déjà vu.
Roughly 34,000 students attend Oakland public schools. Parents say while the one-day strike would be a big disruption, many support their teachers. For OUSD parent Rachel Kennan, it's a feeling of not again.
OUSD should be ashamed of creating a school environment where kids can't count on school taking place. My kids they're 6th grader and 9th grader now, and they don't believe that school will be there for them from one week to the next because you never know when there's going to be a strike.
Thursday's work stoppage would be the 4th strike in 6 years. OUSD teachers walked out in 2023, 2022, and 2019.
We need to be able to count on the schools to be open on school days so that we know where our kids are and we don't need to interrupt our jobs. We don't need to change our lives around when our kids should be at school learning.
The Oakland Education Association, or OEA, says the strike is over unfair labor practices and would fall on May 1st. International Workers' Day. The union accuses the district of failing to provide financial information about recent budget cuts. The district was facing a multi-million-dollar deficit and issued about 100 layoff notices. The union released a statement on Sunday that reads in part, the district has a legal obligation to provide this information, which is needed to enable educators to understand how proposals would affect teachers, district and classroom stability, and the community we serve. Many parents I talked to say they side with the teachers.
Luckily, my kids are old enough that I can keep them home. I would never cross a strike.
I'm not as caught up in all of the details, but I do trust our teachers and know that if they're considering doing something as drastic as this, that it is important and something that we should all pay attention to.
School Board Director Mike Hutchinson says he's confused by the strike, claiming the union has access to all the budget information it's requesting.
All of our budget documents are public information. They are publicly posted on our district website as required by law. And so I would just point out that there's been very general claims made, and nobody has been able to say specifically what document they have not been given.
Go Clippers!
The strike comes at a time of uncertainty for district leadership. The school board recently voted to remove the superintendent.
And there's been no communication about anything. So what's supposed to happen on Thursday?
Some parents like Kennan remain critical of the district and are even considering leaving OUSD due to the ongoing instability.
OUSD is shooting itself in the foot. They're doing all of this stuff that's breaking trust and breaking any support that they might have had with families.
The OUSD school board scheduled a special meeting on Tuesday night to try to work with the union and avert the strike.
Well, there is a bit of good news out of Oakland Unified. The district announced it's emerging from state receivership at the end of the school year. We reached out to Oakland Unified for a statement on how they prepare to plan for the strike if no compromise is reached, and we're still waiting to hear back. Stella Head here on CBS News Bay Area. It was 50 years ago. Millions of people began fleeing Southeast Asia at the end of the Vietnam War. We're speaking with one Bay Area woman who was forced to make an impossible choice.
I say, Mom, I don't know when I have a chance to see you again, but I need to go fight the freedom.
Plus, free repairs for low-income families. Meet the volunteers in the South Bay who help seniors keep their homes and their dreams alive.
See all these people here when I came out. I cried a little bit. I was crying because I was so happy, so happy.
And new recall efforts in the East Bay. We're going to hear from one group calling for the removal of the Contra Costa County DA.
In the Bay Area, a new WNBA franchise is taking flight. Catch this first-in-a-lifetime inaugural season as the Golden State Valkyries play live on KPIX and Pix Plus.
Conditions this morning, but we're warming up into this afternoon, all the way into the upper 60s today along the bay. A similar trend throughout the next couple days with some sunnier skies right around the corner as early as Wednesday into Thursday. Now you head all the way over into our inland spots. If you think that's a nice mild forecast, take a look at the East Bay and the Santa Clara Valley, or even wine country for that matter. We're seeing sunny skies and 70s pretty much each day. It's going to be a nice dry week for us with a little bit of a cooling trend as we wrap up this week and head into this weekend with 60s by Saturday.
Well, when it comes to fixing things around the house, what happens when you can no longer do it yourself? Some have called on the hundreds of volunteers in the South Bay who are helping seniors fix and stay in their own homes. Our John Ramos introduces us to them.
Owning a home may be the American dream, but maintaining it can be a bit of a nightmare. So all across America, some lucky homeowners were getting help from complete strangers to stay in the place that they love.
Everybody could be doing something else, on their day off of work, but they're here. They're here putting their time into her home.
Claudia Chavarria is in her 80s now and has lived in the house on Clayton Road in San Jose for 55 years. For a long time, her husband Jimmy worried about the roof and signed the couple up for a program called Rebuilding Together Silicon Valley, which helps repair the homes of low-income seniors.
And we've been here since, and we never roofed the house. So this roof had 20 holes on it.
And he knew we had applied for the program. So he's been waiting patiently, and he would say, are they going to come to replace my roof? Are they going to come to replace my roof? And we said, you just got to be patient, And so he passed away November 22nd. And right after that is when we got the phone call that they were going to come replace the roof. She was so excited. And I said, well, he's seen everything happen now.
Now the house has a brand new roof, along with most of the plumbing fixtures inside. And on this day, a group of volunteers from the tech company Applied Materials were swarming the house, repairing window screens, planning new landscaping, and most importantly of all, giving the entire exterior a fresh new coat of paint.
My job as house captain is to get those volunteers together, and it's always hard beforehand. Everyone says, oh, they'd love to help, but then it's, everyone's got their lives. But once you get through all that and you get a solid 20 to 30 people that to show up here physically, everyone leaves here with a good feeling that they did something good for their neighborhood.
16 homes in the South Bay were getting makeovers, each one adopted by a different service group or company that provides both the funding and volunteer workforce to get the job done. The program's executive director says the homeowners selected are at an age and income level that would prevent them from being able to care for their home's upkeep.
We really work to help people stay in their homes. We want to keep their homes safe and healthy and allow people to age in their homes safely and thrive so that they're not displaced because they can't keep it maintained.
Fantastic. I mean, she's not going to have to worry about maintenance on our place for quite a while, and it's just going to take a load off of her mind as far as worrying about her house. So.
But worrying about the house was Jimmy's job, and now Claudia knows he can rest easy thanks to the kindness of strangers.
See all these people here. When I came out, I cried a little bit. I was crying because I was so happy, so happy.
There's a saying, the most important thing you can give someone besides your love is your labor. On this day, Claudia got both.
Final results expected today in San Jose's special city council election. The candidate is already declaring victory in the hotly contested race for second place, but the results have yet to be certified. The election is going to fill the District 3 council seat after former councilman Omar Torres was arrested last fall for alleged child sex abuse. So far, no candidate has won the majority of the vote, meaning the two highest vote getters will head to a runoff in June. Well, Gabby Chavez-Lopez has been in the lead since the beginning of the race, so that's pretty much cemented. Current results show her with almost 30% of the vote, but while the race for second place remains extremely close, Anthony Torrijos released a statement saying that he's excited his campaign will advance to the June 27th runoff election. Well, current results from the county show Matthew Quevedo trailing Anthony Torrijos by just 6 votes. Final count is going to be released tonight by 5 p.m. It's going to be interesting. The second place finisher is going to face Chavez-Lopez in that runoff. Wednesday marks half a century since the fall of Saigon, the final loss for South Vietnam as the North rolled into their capital and ended a long and brutal war. As Saigon fell, 3 million people began to leave Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos. Some families were able to make their escape together. Others made the heart-wrenching decision to have to separate. That includes the mother of former KPIX reporter Kit Do, who made the harrowing journey from Vietnam to San Jose while she was about to give birth. Kit shares with us how his mom left one generation behind to protect the next.
Vietnamese call it Black April, But for one woman in San Jose, April 30th, 1975 is bittersweet. When she left April 28th, Ngang Yim was 9 months pregnant.
It's almost due day. Yeah, it's really big.
The decision to leave was also big. One person had already made up her mind.
She asked me to stay back with her. Yeah, my mom.
So in the midst of one of the most turbulent times in Vietnam's history, Nga was forced to make a heart-wrenching choice: escape with her husband or stay with her mother.
I say, Mom, I don't know when I have a chance to see you again. But I need to go find the freedom.
Nga hasn't seen her old wedding photos in years. She thought they were lost.
They are my family. I love everybody in the picture.
As hundreds crowded the American embassy, the situation was just as desperate at the airports. Nga wore a big black coat, fearing they wouldn't let her on the plane. Did you have to hide it?
Yeah, I had to hide it. I might have a baby on the plane. That's why. We had to try to cover up.
It worked. They flew to Guam, a U.S. territory with a naval base with thousands of other refugees.
30th April 1975. I feel I had a son baby.
Contraction?
Yeah, contraction. Yeah.
By then, North Vietnamese tanks rumbled toward the presidential palace and crashed down the gates. Saigon had fallen. 9:31 that same morning.
Yeah, and I had a baby. Easy.
As she laid in that hospital bed, it suddenly occurred to her that in the chaos of the past 2 days, she had not decided on her son's name. And then it came.
My son's name, Đỗ Anh Kiệt.
Which in Vietnamese has a special meaning.
Giống như là không có sợ gì hết.
Courage?
Yeah, courage.
My mother left Vietnam with nothing.
I know, thank God, I found the freedom.
And raised a son who loves her and is thankful for having been born in freedom.
And as Saigon fell, the U.S. launched mass evacuations of orphaned children and babies from South Vietnam. It was a series of historic flights called Operation Baby Lift. The first cargo plane arrived late at night at Oakland International Airport with 57 kids on board, and it was a piece of televised history. The first flight's landing was broadcast live only by KPIX. Still ahead, the effort underway to save an entertainment landmark. Meet members of the nonprofit fighting for the Roxie's survival.
It means everything to me. So it's just the physical embodiment of this place has been here since the mission grew and developed into what we know it is today.
light winds for the most part as we wake up and head out the door. By lunchtime into dinner time hours tonight, this is now around 6, 7 o'clock, we can see wind gusts anywhere up to around 20 to 30 miles per hour along our coastline in areas like Half Moon Bay, in areas close to Bodega Bay all the way down into San Francisco. Half Moon Bay dealing with a lot lighter winds into the evening hours tonight. But we take a quick look at what's going to happen for us into the afternoon hours today. These clouds are going to push offshore. We're all going to be exposed to sunshine. The clouds are going to start rolling back into the overnight hours tonight, filling the bay once again as we head into our Tuesday forecast, at least in those early morning hours before we catch another break into the afternoon hours tomorrow. So day by day, we're seeing small changes in the forecast for us, but we're still warming up, at least until Wednesday, with partly cloudy skies in the forecast in our inland spots. We're going to get that midweek warm up and then a gradual cool down as we creep closer to this weekend. By Saturday, heading into Sunday, we're back down into the 60s, at least for Saturday in our inland spots. We'll slowly start to warm up into early next week. But I mean, you take a look at all over the days ahead of us. For the next 7 days alone, we're dealing with small changes in the forecast for us. Dry skies each day, light winds in the morning with just some cloudy skies filling the bay each day, with the exception of Thursday with mostly sunny skies throughout that afternoon and heading into the evening hours that night. Over to you.
The Roxie Theater in San Francisco is working to cement its position at 16th and Valencia in the Mission by purchasing the building that they've been in for more than a century. They've got to come up with $7 million to buy the place, though. As Amanda Harry shows us, they say it's going to be worth every penny.
The Roxie Theater has become a staple here on 16th Street. It's been located here for more than 100 years. It even has the distinction of being a San Francisco legacy business, and staff wants to make sure it stays right here. Walking into the Roxie Theater, it may seem quaint and cozy, but it also has a long history. It's one of the oldest continuously operating theaters in the country. And for Matt Siegel, it's become home.
It means everything to me.
Siegel moved to San Francisco almost 5 years ago and quickly discovered the theater.
Walked down the street. I didn't even know I was in the Mission at the time. I looked in the window and I saw that they had a poster for Eraserhead. I said, that's the movie theater I'm going to be going to.
And he did. He saw a movie and applied for a job his first time visiting.
It's a labor of love for me. These are the kind of movies I love. These are the kind of people that I like to interact with and engage with.
He's now a manager. Last week, Roxie's staff announced they have been working on a $7 million capital campaign called Forever Roxie to buy their building outright. Siegel believes as long as they're renting, their future will always be uncertain, and they want to become a permanent fixture in the Mission.
We're still at the mercy of, in theory, the landlords and the real estate market or whatever. Whereas if we own the space, it's ours and we can secure the Roxie for generations to come.
Zappa Johns has been seeing movies at the Roxie for years. He says he's hopeful that the purchase will happen.
Giving the Roxie a little bit more control over their own space, I think is a fantastic idea. Having like a real movie house like this, especially as a part of the neighborhood, is a fantastic part of San Francisco's cinema legacy.
Theater staff has already raised about $5.5 million. Now with less than $1.5 million left, they're asking the public for donations. Siegel says, with so many movies being released online, it makes places like this more valuable.
It's a special experience that I think people seek out now in an active way as an almost affectionate relationship to movies that you just don't get in your home cinema.
With the Forever Roxie campaign, they plan to do some upgrades, like replacing projectors, screens, and sound systems. But they plan to do it in a way that'll stay true to the historic location. Siegel says he doesn't want to ever have to imagine the Mission without this place.
It's a gem, it's a landmark. Well, first of all, we've been here 110 years, so it's just the physical embodiment of this place has been here since the Mission grew and developed into what we know it is today.
Roxie staff already has an agreement with the owners of this location to purchase the building. So getting the funds is the final step to securing it.
Coming up in our next half hour here on CBS News Bay Area, there is another recall effort against an East Bay district attorney. We're hearing from people who signed the petition why they support this latest effort.
And for someone to let those people go without even a slap on the wrist is a slap in the face.
Plus, the Bay Area's LGBTQ plus community reflecting on the impact of Pope Francis in the fight for inclusion. We're going to hear from parishioners about their hopes going forward.
I want to feel loved by Rome, and I felt that he did love everyone.
I'm Ann Makovic, and this is The Minute. At least 11 people were killed after a car drove through a festival in Vancouver. Police say the 30-year-old suspect plowed a black SUV into the crowd on Saturday night. It was a festival celebrating Filipino heritage. The suspect facing at least 8 counts of second-degree murder. The city of San Francisco plans to resume GPS monitoring for criminal defendants awaiting trial. It's after an appeals court reversed a previous ruling that said deputies could not search criminal defendants without a warrant. The city's ankle monitoring has been on hold since September. Craft and fabrics retailer Joann shutting down more than a dozen locations here in the Bay Area. They are set to close by the end of this month. After the company filed for its second bankruptcy in January, they're closing 1/3 of their locations nationwide. I'm Ann Makovic with the Minutes.
You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
We kicked off this morning with cool and cloudy conditions, but now as we head into this afternoon, we're dealing with dry skies and daytime highs, mostly sitting in the mid to upper 60s in the forecast in areas like Oakland and San Francisco, but then 70s widespread throughout our inland areas today. Warmer conditions off near Concord and Antioch, a little bit cooler for our friends up in wine country near Novato in the low 70s. We're also experiencing low 70s anywhere from Fremont all the way into the Santa Clara Valley. But day by day, we're going to continue to warm up as we head into this week's week's forecast. At the same time, we take a look at our wind gust. We're already up to around 15 to 20 mile per hour wind gust just along our shoreline. That'll continue to get breezier into the evening hours tonight, especially along our coast, but we'll also notice that influence in our inland areas too. So with that in mind, we're seeing clear skies heading into this afternoon. That'll be the case into the evening hours tonight, but then the clouds fill the bay once again as we wake up tomorrow morning. We're going to see cloudy skies into the morning hours tomorrow, pulling back a little bit more as we head into the afternoon hours day by day. So we get a quick look at what we can expect starting off over in the bay. We're going to get a little bit of a warm up and then a quick cool down as we head into this weekend's forecast. A midweek warm up brings in sunshine and upper 60s in areas like San Francisco, all the way over the Bay Bridge into Oakland too. Notice how each day is dry, not a drop of rain in sight. Once we head into this weekend, we will see a cloudier influence though, and we're also going to notice some cooler weather right around the corner. Now we make our way over into our inland spots. Now we're talking about wine country, the East Bay, the Santa Clara Valley. We could potentially even see some low 80s in the forecast for us, but for the most part, just upper 70s as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday. Sunny skies as we dive into this weekend with cooler weather right around the corner as we head into Saturday's forecast. Back to you.
Well, first it was San Francisco District Attorney Chesa Boudin, then Alameda County DA Pamela Price. Now in Contra Costa County, organizers are looking to oust District Attorney Diana Becton, who they say is too soft on crime. The group held a press conference this weekend in Oakland explaining the recall effort as they kick off signature gathering. Our Dahlin was there.
Families of victims are the ones behind the recall. They include the family of murder victim Alexis Gabe. They accuse the DA of protecting criminals, and they want her gone. Recall supporters say each signature represents a call for safety, accountability, and justice.
I agree that she should be recalled. I think to have these criminals walk, and she's not doing her job.
Voter Wade Rutnick is eager to sign the petition. He believes District Attorney Diana Becton is too lenient on crime.
As a citizen of Contra Costa County, I should feel safer than the criminals that go out there and prey upon our citizens. And for someone to let those people go without even a slap on the wrist is a slap in the face.
Recall organizers also accuse Becton of making empty promises to victims' families and failing to be transparent. The Alexis Gabe family remains frustrated that the DA's office declined to file charges against the mother of the murder suspect. They believe she knew about the crime and helped dispose of the body.
We want to stress that our motivation is not revenge. Our sole aim is to see Diana Becton ousted from office and to bring an end to further suffering for families of crime victims.
Other supporters say they're fed up with Becton's progressive policies. Voters in San Francisco and Alameda County have recalled their progressive DAs in recent years.
I am standing here today because I never want another family to endure the pain, the heartbreak, and the injustice that mine has suffered.
But Becton's supporters say she's not the same as Chesa Boudin or Pamela Price.
She stands up for victims. She's aggressively prosecuting violent criminals. She's asked for more money from the Board of Supervisors to fund these efforts, which we've granted.
Becton declined an interview, but County Supervisor John Joya says her leadership is partly why crime is down.
The allegations that this group is making against Diana Becton just don't match the reality. The most recent Department of Justice data shows that violent crime in Contra Costa is at an historic low.
But Rutnick disagrees, saying Becton is part of the problem, not the solution.
When the system doesn't correct itself, it's up to citizens to, make the correction.
Saturday was day one of signature gathering. Organizers need to gather 73,000 valid signatures to put the recall on the ballot. They have 160 days to collect those signatures.
9 days of mourning underway right now for Pope Francis following a funeral on Saturday that brought world leaders together at the Vatican. Vatican is closed, the Sistine Chapel, today as preparations begin for the conclave. Cardinals began gathering in the heart of Rome to elect the next pope. The conclave, typically held 15 to 20 days after a pope's death, is set to begin on May 7th. As the Catholic community awaits the announcement of the next pope, members of one church in San Francisco are remembering the life of the late Pope Francis. Kenny Choi spent some time with parishioners in the Most Holy Redeemer Church in the Castro. They told him many in the LGBTQ community are hoping that the church continues down a path of inclusion rather than exclusion.
The sounds of music fill the colorful cathedral in the Castro, the most holy Redeemer Church. Grace Renaud leads the way.
My part is to get people to feel free to have a voice through music so that they speak up in their ways and the ways they influence and create culture together.
Renaud and her fellow parishioners are remembering the late Pope Francis as a reformer, they say, whose message to the world consistently emphasized inclusivity.
He is a global representation of the principle of the Catholic Church, which is an emanation of love and a vibration that transcends language and really speaks to the human heart that says, now is the time to be love in the world together.
The Catholic Church in the Castro became affectionately known as Gays and Grays nearly half a century ago, when elderly parishioners started an AIDS outreach ministry to young gay men. Mike Daly left the church, but eventually found his way back.
I want to feel loved by Rome, and I felt that he did love everyone.
He and other parishioners believe Francis spread a different kind of message than what used to be shared by a more conservative Vatican.
Many people have come back to church because of Pope Francis, who have felt his love and his inclusion and have made that journey back in.
USF chaplain and theologian Donald Godfrey says the late Pope went beyond what he had expected during his 12-year papacy when speaking of inclusivity for the gay community.
He made it clear you didn't have to make a choice between those identities. You could choose to be Catholic and also LGBTQ. That didn't go down very well all around the world, as we know, but it was a significant change.
Godfrey believes the road ahead for the Catholic Church is clear.
The Catholic Church needs somebody who will continue this movement of reform in a respectful way and a way of dialogue, understanding that there are great differences within the church.
My hope is that the new Pope will continue this engagement and bring people back and not push them away.
The journey to openly commune in faith has been a long one for so many like Daly and Renaud.
Sometimes we have to believe in something that seems unfathomable, right? Which is a truly human, inclusive Pope in every sense.
It's on that note of hope and faith they pray for a continuation of welcoming more people in rather than keeping others out.
Coming up next, the Golden State Valkyries getting ready for their first preseason game next week. We tagged along on their first day of training camp.
This is obviously a different experience than any other training camp. It's extra special because it's a team that just got here, a new franchise.
In the Bay Area, a new WNBA franchise is taking flight. Catch this first-in-a-lifetime inaugural season as the Golden State Valkyries play live on KPIX and Pix Plus.
Cool conditions this morning, but we're warming up into this afternoon, all the way into the upper 60s today along the bay. A similar trend throughout the next couple days with some sunnier skies right around the corner as early as Wednesday into Thursday. Now you head all the way over into our inland spots. If you think that's a nice mild forecast, take a look at the East Bay and the Santa Clara Valley, or even wine country for that matter. We're seeing sunny skies and 70s pretty much each day. It's going to be a nice dry week for us with a little bit of a cooling trend as we wrap up this week and head into this weekend with 60s by Saturday.
Well, the Warriors looking to keep the momentum rolling tonight against the Houston Rockets. Not clear right now if Jimmy Butler is going to take the court. He's been out since a hard fall early in Game 2 with a pelvic injury. Coach Steve Kerr says Butler spent the weekend working with trainers and remains questionable for Game 4 tonight. On Saturday, the Dubs took a 104-93 win over Houston, grabbing a 2-1 lead in the series. Tip-off Game 4 set for 7 o'clock tonight. Golden State looks to put the Rockets on the brink of elimination. From the Warriors to the Valkyries, the team was on the floor this weekend as they started their first training camp. Matt Lively was at their facility in Oakland catching up with some of the players.
It was an exciting day here in Oakland as the Golden State Valkyries took the practice court for the first time in the history of the franchise.
This is obviously a different experience than any other training camp too, since it's a brand new team. We're all starting from ground zero. It's extra special because it's a team that just got here, a new franchise. This is something new for me.
It was sort of like the first day of school for Golden State, fully equipped with unique introductions.
The coaches kind of did a little dance to, get the jitters out because some people were saying that they were nervous, which is normal, it's the first day of camp. Ready with a lot of energy. I don't know how much of ice-breaking that is, but it kind of just settles the mood, kind of make everybody just relax.
The Valkyries have the chance to set the identity for not just one team, but the entire franchise.
We know what we want our identity to be, and it's killers. We want to be gritty, we want to be relentless, we want to be the ones diving on the floor for loose balls.
Yeah, we had people going out into the corners, the stands, and the chairs, just diving for basketballs, and I'm like, oh, hold on. So, yeah, I would say they're killers.
Head coach Natalie Nakase will be grading and judging as she shapes the inaugural roster.
They know they're here to earn their spot, and so we made that clear. We have no starters right now, but you guys get to earn it, and trust me, they're battling.
As the coaching staff looks to facilitate on-court chemistry, the players will look to bond off of it as well.
The first thing I want to do is take them to the island. What is this? Absolutely. We going to Alcatraz for sure as a team. We got to do that one.
Go at night.
I don't know about that. Now you're trying to set me up. I don't know about that. I'm not trying to have nightmares. I'm trying to have a little fun and learn a little something. I'm from Texas, so and I'm a tropical girl, so it's kind of been a little cold outside. So I don't really do too much outside, walking because it's a little cold. But I mean, just find little areas to go hang out, find little restaurants.
It's clear from day one that while competition is key, Nakase and her team will soak up this opportunity.
Life is short, and so we want to just make the most of it. So have fun. Yes, we want to win games, but they have to enjoy it, and that's when they play their best.
The Valkyries will continue to practice right up until their first preseason game, May 6, against the Sparks at Chase Center.
And remember, CBS News Bay Area is your home for the Valkyries. More than 30 games are going to air on KPIX and Pix Plus. We also are going to have a weekly show with behind-the-scenes access. Coming up here on CBS News Bay Area, it was a big night for kids at a Bay Area hospital. How staffers there gave them a prom they'll never forget. The final wave of the conducting baton this weekend for Michael Tilson Thomas at Davies Symphony Hall in San Francisco. The maestro and music director laureate of the San Francisco Symphony announced earlier this year that he was stepping down after a brain tumor returned. Symphony lovers shared their well wishes to the beloved conductor.
You can see how all the people are here tonight to celebrate him and what he's done here for 25 years.
It's important to, I think, find some closure and to just pay tribute to what an amazing human being and artist he's been over the years.
What more can I say except I love the man.
Now, Mayor Daniel Lurie was there on Saturday, and he presented Tilson Thomas with a proclamation calling April 26th Michael Tilson Thomas Day. Well, it is that time of year when high school students start getting ready for prom. They're picking out their dresses, tuxes, and planning their rides. Our Andrea Nakano takes us to a memorable prom night for teens at UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital.
This is Jessica Dotson's second prom at the UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital.
I've just been hospitalized multiple times, and it took a really long trial to get here, but I'm proud to say that I'm going to be okay.
She's a junior in high school and has dealt with chronic kidney issues all her life. She's missed months of school and in some ways missed what it's like to be a normal teenager.
I ended up losing a lot of friends because of this. I felt like I was able to show up, and I blame myself a lot, but now I'm surrounded by people that understand.
She got so much out of last year's prom that she joined the Youth Advisory Council to help organize this year's event. Kids here are dealing with anything from pediatric cancer to mental health issues. They say this prom helps with their healing.
It makes your life a little more normal, because, when people are in the hospital, it's kind of harder to have a normal life. And so I think it really is a good chance to have some sort of normality and, feel like a real person,
This is the 14th year UCSF Benioff has put on a prom.
Pictures of them in front of us.
Child life specialist Jamie Coe says these kids are dealing with so much that it's important to take them out of the hospital room and their minds off their illnesses.
All right. So try to make positive memories so that you don't have any scary memories while you're here in the hospital.
This prom has it all with the dancing, decorations, games, and food, but kids have one thing they will take away from this night, the common bond they all share with friends who know what it's like to battle chronic diseases.
I actually have not met many people in high school who have problems like health issues and everything, because a lot of people are insecure. So I finally met a really good friend and a lot of girls that were just so inviting, and I've kept in touch with them throughout the years. So if there was any battle that I went through, they were right there with me.
Well, thanks for streaming CBS News Bay Area. I'm Ann Makovic. We're going to be right back with your first alert forecast and another look at your top stories.